powerless. We are heroes and dreamers. We are restless believers, stronger than ever. Never say never. Don't look back now. Don't look back now. Rise up, stand with each other. We are sisters and brothers, finding our place and running the race. We'll take our chance and seize the moment. Hold on tight and don't let go.
Welcome to Elevating Lives. My name is Charles Zevdos. I'm Executive Director of Rise Life Services. And today I have two special guests, Jeanette Permenter, who's our Chief Operating Officer, and Robert Melnick, who's our Residential Operations Director. So welcome to both of you.
Hello.
Jeanette, why don't you talk a little bit about your position, what you do at Rise, and talk a little bit about the agency, please.
Okay. My name is Jeanette Permenter. I'm the Chief Operations Officer at Rise Life Services. I just recently took this position in January of 2024. I've been with the agency for 4 years. I have an extensive background in the field of over 20 years. And what I do at Rise Life Services is I manage the administrative officers over the different departments, and I support the support departments over the entire operations of our programs. In saying that, I ensure that we are all working towards the same goals. What we have at Rise Life Services, our goals right now are to continue to align the agency, to transform the culture, and obviously to optimize revenue. In doing that, I work with the teams. I bring the teams together so we can work more cohesively together, so we all have the same goal in mind, while ensuring that everybody in the agency has a voice. We want to ensure that the staff are part of it and everybody feels part of the larger picture. So that's really what my goal and my role in the agency is, to make sure that we're working together, we're all striving for the same goal, and making sure that the lives of the individuals that we support are at the highest quality that they can be.
That's great. And Rob, you're now the new residential director. Tell me, we have 32 sites. Tell us about, your job in general. What's going to happen with those 32 sites over the next couple of years?
I'm privileged to work at Rise Life Services. Our residential services are spread out all the way from Wainscott, where we are now, to Middle Island on the west end, and then on the North Fork from Greenport all the way out to pretty much the same area, Riverhead. And so we cover both Forks and Riverhead area pretty well. We support about 250 people on a daily basis. And those folks are funded through two different streams of funding. One is through Office of Mental Health, also known as OMH, and the other one is the Office of Persons with Developmental Disabilities, OPWDD. We like a lot of acronyms in our field. And so these homes are really designed in both sides of the coin to really be homes. Oftentimes we say group house or group home, and our main intent is to make sure that just as in our own homes, people are feeling really very at home, supported, that it is their home, trying to make it as suitable as possible for the folks who we support, based on a very diverse need. So we have folks in our house, the individuals who we support, about half of the people I mentioned before have mental health issues. That's a varying degree. The primary diagnoses are schizophrenia and bipolar disorder. However, we see dual diagnosed individuals who have also an intellectual component to their disability. And about a quarter of the population that we support on the mental health side is also confronting drug and alcohol problems. And with the legalization of marijuana, that's become even more prevalent. The folks who come from who are populating our homes come from a variety of backgrounds. Some come from state institutions, some are homeless, some have come from forensic backgrounds, and others from their homes with their families. And the mental health division is really designed to be a transitional model. So we have 3 different levels. The first level being our community residences, which are 24-hour supervised. The second level is our apartment treatment program. And then lastly is our supportive housing program. And so our main focus is to move people along the continuum so that they can ultimately get back even beyond our supportive housing into living independently in the community or back to a place that they desire. So that's the main mission for the mental health division. On the OPWDD side, our houses are a little bit different in that probably about 3/4 of the people who are there will call this their forever home. And so for those individuals, we again try to make a really, and we do, we're very pleased and accomplished in providing home-like environments where they're nurtured. We have a very diverse group of population that we support in that division of our agency too. Some of the individuals have significant medical needs. Some of them have challenges behaviorally, and others also have dual diagnosis. So that really makes our days very interesting and fun, and the staff are highly trained, actually in both divisions, but especially on the OPWDD side because of the real intense needs that we have on the medical side in particular. The OPW side also has our supportive housing division. So similar to what we spoke about before with the mental health division, the expectation is that people living in our community residences will be able to move up that ladder. And in order on both sides of the team to be able to do that, the individuals have to really manage their own medications, appointments, be really well grounded in their community, and ultimately they'll flourish with less support than they receive in the community residences, which are 24-hour supervised. So as you go up that ladder, so to speak, the amount of support and intensity diminishes with really great results.
Wow, that's wonderful. But one thing that I'm getting questions from a lot of parents out there, how do, if they have a child that's developmentally disabled or needs our type of service, how do they get help?
Excellent. We receive calls all the time from families who are kind of lost and out there. And so there's two processes. One on the OPWDD side is called going through the front door. And that's the first thing we tell families when they call. You need to get your name on a list. Back in the days when there was a huge proliferation of group homes being developed in the 80s and early 90s, there really came a halt to that. And that has a double-edged sword. It's good in many ways because the services and the money directed for services is now community-based, primarily with ResHab and CommunityHab. And so families are really looking for those type of services. It was something that many people advocated for. Yet there are a number of people who they cannot live at home, and those are the calls that we get. So what we encourage families to do as quickly as possible, once you know the path that you want to take with your son or daughter, your loved one, is to get on that list because there is a wait list and it's extensive. And while waiting for a group home placement, if that's what is necessary, there are services in home that can be provided to help bridge that gap. Unfortunately, what we see a lot of times are families who are in really difficult situations, an elderly mom or dad who can no longer care for their loved one. And that's what we really try to avoid. And so this message that we're sending out here today, and also through legislative action, we're trying to make sure that families are truly aware of how to access services on the OPWDD side. Now, on the mental health side, it's also very similar. We have a process where we have to go through a single point of access. And so families are encouraged to also get their name on a list so that they could be expedited towards the services that they're looking for, whether they're community-based or whether they're going to be living in one of our homes, which of course are community-based as well.
And they base that on priority, correct?
So yes, the wait list doesn't necessarily go in the order of wait. So there are individuals who are out of state right now that need to get back into New York State, some who are in not the greatest of situations, including aversive therapy out of state, aversive therapy being noxious stimulus to keep them moving in a direction. And so these are the type of people who we definitely want to bring back to New York State, and we're working hard to do that. So they would be obviously higher on the priority list. Those folks are oftentimes, though, agencies are approached to serve them so that they can have an expedited return to New York State. So, yeah.
Yeah, and that's got to be very costly to send a child or an individual out of state. That makes sense for the taxpayer who's dishing out a lot. It's not cheap to run these programs, unfortunately.
Absolutely. So we look forward to supporting those individuals and closer to home, closer to family, in a way that's really nurturing and supportive.
Now, New York State, Jeanette, started a self-direction program. I guess it was about 5 years ago. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, I would believe so about
Now,
that.
where do you see self-direction going in the future?
Self-direction is a good option for parents that are out there that have individuals that are a little higher functioning, that they don't necessarily need the 24-hour support services that you would get in a community residence. Therefore, they can have self-directed services where they decide where their funds and where their money goes for what the need is, which is definitely something out there that it gives another option to the families out there. So I do see self-direction growing, but the need for community housing is always going to be there.
Okay, great. I mean, now that we have 32 residential sites, we also have an outpatient suicide prevention program, day programs, food pantries. How are we going to coordinate the outpatients to get the mental health issues, the service that an individual needs?
Well, that's in coordination with really working again with the program, seeing what the need is out there, working in cohesiveness with the clinic and the programs together so we can make sure that we're getting the clients that we need that are within our own facility as well as outside in the community that need our outpatient clinic and our services. Right now, we're working with different school districts with our suicide prevention program, where we're out there, with the influx of COVID issues and the anxiety and all the mental health issues that have arisen from COVID. There's a lot of kids out there that need that support, and just whether it's counseling, whether it's just getting out and speaking to somebody. Our suicide prevention program is a state of the art, one of a kind right now that offers those opportunities for those children. And we are partnering with many different school districts around Long Island, out east, and even further out west to provide those services to those children who may need that.
No, I remember seeing figures that there were 276 teenagers who committed suicide in Long Island. I believe it was 2023, if I'm correct, and that. And I believe that the new numbers this year have gone down. Now, hopefully, it's because of Rise Life Services providing the suicide prevention program.
Absolutely. It's the different programs that are out there that are being offered to these children who are in crisis. I think for a long time, it was something that really wasn't taken seriously. But like you said, the numbers of children that have tried to commit suicide, unfortunately have succeeded in it, is just great. And the need is just such a great need out there right now.
Right. One thing that, our individuals that we serve, they're just like the three of us here on this TV show. What's for breakfast? What's for lunch? What am I doing today? How does Rise incorporate that into living in our residential sites?
So the services are, when you use the word self-directed, that's the philosophy we espouse in our homes. The individuals have tons of choices of what to do. As we speak today, there's a group going out, a small group, to the Met game tonight to see the Mets hopefully win. And the choice and avenues that we could pursue are just endless, quite honestly. Many of the individuals do attend our program Without Walls, which is really a state-of-the-art program where every day they have a multitude of opportunity to just do really fun things, volunteering, work readiness. So the folks in our residential program have really a lot at their fingertips, and directed, of course, with the support of the staff.
They aspire for the same things that we do. They want to be independent. They want to have a job. They want to have relationships. They want to get married. So that's what we help them. We help them, guide them along the way, and they should have that like everybody else.
Absolutely. Do we ever take them to Yankee games besides the Mets?
Yes, there was a group that went to a Yankee game. We love going to big venues. They went to the Knicks and the Nets playing at
All right.
Barclays, and we have fishing trips and barbecues and all those fun things.
No, that's great.
Most of the individuals are also doing their own thing as opposed to group activities, and that's highly encouraged.
I mean, the Rise and Spirit site in Huntington, what I find amazing is it features art, music, dance, molding classes, a day program, and so forth. What I love about the art classes, the individuals copy an artist for, let's say, a week or two. They take, I don't know if I'm going to call it training, but a class on a certain artist. And some of these young people have a great talent.
Absolutely.
Tell me a little bit more
Absolutely. So many of our individuals are so talented, whether it's singing, dancing, comedy. They just have a multitude of
about that. We do comedy?
They
Oh, man,
absolutely
I like
do.
that. I didn't know that.
Absolutely do. We've had so many shows where we've done karaoke, they've done comedy, they've told you. They're just like any one of us. They have the talent, the skills, and they just need to be out there and just be treated the same. That's really what the goal is. They're just like you and me.
Right. Rob, what do you find on the residents? What is the hardest part? What goals or what things would you like to see from New York State and the community?
Well, universally, not just in New York, but all over the United States and outside of the states as well, finding qualified staff who want to join organizations like ours is it's a challenge. And longstanding issue is that the level of pay and the view of professionalism of this field, although there's been tremendous gains over the years, we have a long way to go in that regard. Rise is right there in the middle, an upper echelon in terms of benefits and salary compared to our sister organizations who are also doing a wonderful job, but we need to do more of that. And so the men and women who we support, all of our staff, all of us, we're constantly advocating through legislative action, going up to Albany, local offices, and fortunately we have a lot of support and we're gaining tremendous momentum in that area, but the work is not done. We really need to get our folks paid more than they are right now and equivalent to those that are working in hospitals and nursing homes. And that's the biggest challenge that we face.
No, definitely. I mean, one dream that I've had, and I'm working on it, is getting 36 acres donated. I would love to create a 55 and over community for the developmentally disabled, veterans, and the very autistic, whatever the category may be. And if any donor out there would like to help us get property donated, I would love that because you know, when you hit a certain age, you need that activity, the pool, the garden in the front. We want to make a life so much better, and the same thing that everybody else wants. You know, you want stability, and that's important. Jeanette, what if you were to have a wish today for, your programs, all the programs, I should say? What would you consider? What would you consider the number one priority in your career?
The number one priority for me is ensuring that, as Rob had just stated, that we get the staff the necessary funds that they need to care for the individuals that we support. Everybody needs to understand that this is not a forgotten society. These are not forgotten
Absolutely.
people. They still need the help and support that they've always needed. And in order for us to get that, the staff that work with them each and every day need to get paid the salary that they need to support the individuals.
And that's so important, especially living on Long Island. It's so expensive.
Absolutely.
And most of our staff probably work 2 and 3 jobs, so it is tough, no question.
Absolutely.
I had on one of my shows Joanne Vitale, who runs our food pantry and our day programs, and the food prices have gone through the roof, and our food pantry's demand has gone up 300%, and it's difficult because we get no funding to run those programs.
Absolutely.
We're very fortunate that Long Island Harvest, Long Island Cares, the local farmers, ShopRite, and Panera Bread, and a few other companies give us the food to provide for the community, but we need a van to be able to deliver the food so that we can take care of a lot more people, because it's gone up 300%, the need over the last 2 years. So
Absolutely, and right now it's budgeted at $9 per person per day
Right.
to eat. And we all know that's not a livable amount to eat on every day.
$9 a day.
$9 a day
Wow.
per person is what is budgeted for these individuals to eat.
That's very low. That goes back to 1970.
Absolutely, absolutely. So
Well, one of the things that drives me crazy is our rate base for our OPWDD side hasn't gone up since 2017. We got no COLA for about 8 to 10 years. How do you run an agency you don't get the proper funding? It's a problem. And
Absolutely.
hopefully New York State comes to the plate, which Governor Hochul has tried with increasing the budget and COLA for the first time in how many years. But I foresee a lot of agencies closing down the line because of the lack of funding.
Yep, and I hope that's not the case. I hope people really get out there and advocate, because like I said, this is not a forgotten society. They need us, they need the help. And we need the help, the agencies need the help.
Now tell me a little story about one of the individuals that you know in the agency. Tell me, like when I see a number of the individuals, they're giving you hugs. Oh, Charlie, how you doing?
Oh, there's so many, but if I had to choose one, Jimmy Napoli comes to mind. He works at the car wash in River.
Oh yes, Jimmy.
And he absolutely is just a joy to see. He greets you with that smile. He's ready to help you with whatever you need. He's ready to wash your car. So I just love. He just makes me smile every time I see him.
So whenever somebody takes their car to the Riverhead car wash,
Look
they should
for
say, "Hey,
Jimmy.
Jimmy, yeah, right."
You look for Jimmy. He'll be there, ready to greet you.
Rob, is there anybody that
Yeah, well, we were just talking about our food pantry, and so we're really proud of the fact that 3 of the individuals who live in our mental health homes actually are gainfully employed
That's
through
important.
the pantry and giving back to the community. There's a number of individuals who are out there working in animal shelters, retail businesses, and work is such an integral part of mental health and important to all of us, and especially the individuals who we have in our care, because meaningful activities during the day is really the way to go. We got to keep people busy and active, and when they get the paycheck, it's an awesome thing.
No question. I remember years ago when they had the workforce programs, and an individual got his first check, and it was only like $9, whatever. He was so proud and so excited, and just like ourselves when we were younger, we got a check the first time. It's like, oh my God, I made $20. No question. That's definitely great.
Definitely.
Jeanette, now in the where do you see Rise going in the future? You know, as chief operating officer, you've got a lot of pieces to take care of.
Rise is going to continue to rise in the future. We are looking at different opportunities out there that we can continue to provide support to the individuals we currently provide support for. We're looking into providing support to individuals with HIV. We're looking at HIV housing, like you said, the 55 and over community, the Veterans Association, veteran community. So I do see Rise continuing to rise and open up different opportunities for everybody.
That's great. How about you, Rob?
Well, oftentimes we are, and we speak about the need and our needs. There's many needs in the community. So one of the major strategic goals for the residential division is to give back to the community. So as I mentioned before, things like the food pantry, we've just adopted 15 parks in the county of Suffolk where we're taking care of the properties. So our men and women have so many talents and gifts, and just bringing that out to the community, creating smiles on other people's faces, and raising awareness is definitely the way to go.
That's great. Again, we need your help. Rise Life Service. If you go to riselifeservices.org, go to our donation page. If you can help us with our food truck, we have $25,000 that has been donated already, but we need another $60,000 to buy the truck. We have a wish list of about 20 or 30 items. If there's something you can help us with, please make that donation. Again, I want to thank everybody for watching the show. Hope making Rise the institution that it is. And again, thank you, everybody. Have a great day. Thank you.
We have found our way. It's a brand new day.